In the introduction to the book, the author addresses the question, "What's in it for me?" and highlights the importance of focusing on the important things in life while disregarding the rest. The modern world offers us countless opportunities and choices, whether it's in our careers, relationships, or sources of information. However, despite having so many options, many people find themselves stressed and unfulfilled. The reason behind this is our tendency to try and do it all, spreading ourselves too thin and experiencing burnout. The solution, as presented in these, is to identify what truly matters to us and concentrate our energy on those aspects. In other words, we need to stop caring about everything and start prioritizing the few things that truly bring us fulfillment. Through these, you will gain insights on how to determine what is genuinely important to you and learn to let go of the rest. Additionally, these explore interesting concepts such as why comparing oneself to others is unproductive, how self-criticism can lead to being right, and why accepting the inevitability of death can be liberating. By the end of these, you will have a new perspective on how to live a more fulfilling life by focusing on what truly matters and letting go of unnecessary concerns. The main concept is that in life, everything requires effort and challenges, so it's crucial to find the right struggle for yourself. Determining your ultimate goal and what you truly want out of life is not an easy task. Many people may claim they want happiness, a loving family, and a fulfilling job, but these aspirations are too vague and won't motivate you to strive for success. To achieve your goals, hard work and perseverance are necessary. Setbacks and difficulties are guaranteed along the way. Without a determined goal, you will falter when faced with adversity. For example, if your goal is to become a CEO, you need to be aware that it involves long work hours, tough decision-making, and the responsibility of firing people. If you aren't truly passionate about becoming a CEO, you will struggle with the hard work and your chances of success will be slim. Since struggle is inevitable, it's important to find something worth struggling for. Identify what genuinely brings you joy and satisfaction. Engaging in activities that make you happy will not only help you overcome challenges, but also enable you to develop a love for them. For instance, the author discovered a passion for writing about dating and decided to focus on creating a dating advice blog. Though it was challenging initially, their love for the subject drove them to thrive. Eventually, their efforts paid off, with the blog attracting a substantial number of subscribers and becoming their full-time job. The key takeaway is that there's no point in seeking an easy life devoid of challenges. To progress in life, you must find a meaningful goal worth struggling for. Equally important is learning to say no to struggles and tasks that don't bring you joy. Be ruthless and stop pursuing things that don't make you happy. Instead, concentrate on a few great things and disregard everything else. It emphasizes that while suffering can lead to great achievements, true happiness can only be attained if you possess the right values. The art world provides excellent examples of success through struggle, often depicting artists as impoverished and underappreciated individuals who persist until their genius is recognized. A notable example is guitarist Dave Mustaine. In 1983, Mustaine was kicked out of his band just as they were on the verge of fame. Fueled by anger and a desire to prove his former bandmates wrong, Mustaine dedicated himself to improving his skills and assembling a better band. This led to the formation of Megadeth, a hugely successful band that sold over 25 million records. Despite this achievement, Mustaine remained unhappy because he measured his success against his former band, Metallica, one of the biggest music acts worldwide. By constantly comparing himself to Metallica, Mustaine considered himself a failure despite his evident accomplishments. Mustaine's persistent unhappiness highlights the danger of measuring success against others. To find fulfillment, it is crucial to establish healthier values by which to evaluate one's achievements. Pete Best provides a contrasting example, illustrating how the right values can lead to happiness. Like Mustaine, Best was ousted from a band on the brink of stardom, except in his case, it was the Beatles, the most significant band of all time. Initially falling into a deep depression while watching his former bandmates reach the pinnacle of success, Best eventually shifted his values. He realized that his true desires in life were a loving family and a happy home life. Although he still wanted to play music, he no longer wanted musical success, or the lack thereof, to define his existence. This change in perspective resulted in a contented and fulfilled life for Best, and he continued to enjoy making music, albeit with less renowned bands. The key takeaway is that our values hold more importance than external success when it comes to attaining happiness. The next section will explore how to identify the right values to guide our lives. It emphasizes the prevalence of negative or shitty values in society and the importance of finding good values to believe in. One common example is the tendency to measure one's worth by comparing oneself to others, which ultimately leads to disappointment. However, this is just one of many values that can hinder the path to happiness. For instance, pleasure is often prioritized as the ultimate goal in life. Yet, pursuing pleasure above all else is unhealthy and closely associated with values commonly held by drug addicts, adulterers, and gluttons. Research has shown that those who prioritize pleasure are more likely to experience anxiety and depression. Another example of a shitty value is using material success as the yardstick for one's life. This involves coveting material possessions or seeking wealth solely for the sake of surpassing others. However, once our basic needs are met, studies have demonstrated that additional wealth does not significantly increase happiness. Moreover, prioritizing wealth over values like family, honesty, or integrity can have negative consequences. To avoid such negative values, it is crucial to identify and adopt worthwhile values. Adherence to shitty values often stems from a lack of meaningful alternatives. Good values should be grounded in reality, contribute positively to society, and have immediate and controllable effects. An example of a good value is honesty. It is a valuable trait because individuals have control over their honesty, it is based in reality, and it provides truthful feedback to others, which is helpful. Other values that fulfill these criteria include creativity, generosity, and humility. By identifying and embracing such good values, individuals can steer away from negative or shitty values and lead a more fulfilling and meaningful life. When you take full responsibility for your life. Although we may sometimes feel like victims of circumstances, true positive change can only occur when we take full responsibility for our lives. Many people willingly participate in marathons, finding pride and joy in the experience. However, if they were forced to run against their will, the entire experience would be detested, regardless of their performance. Similarly, in life, many individuals perceive themselves as victims of external circumstances. They view failed job interviews, rejections from loved ones, or missed opportunities as outcomes imposed upon them, leading to unhappiness. An extreme example of this is William James, who came from a privileged background but faced illness, artistic struggles, and family criticism. These factors pushed him to the brink of despair until he encountered the philosophy of Charles Peirce, who advocated for taking 100% responsibility for one's life. James realized that his misery stemmed from attributing his circumstances to external forces, which made him feel powerless. However, upon understanding that he was responsible for his life and actions, he experienced a shift in mindset. With this newfound empowerment, he started anew, dedicating himself to hard work and ultimately becoming a pioneering figure in American psychology. The key lesson is to learn from William James and take responsibility for our own lives when we feel like victims. For instance, if a romantic relationship ends, rather than solely blaming the other person for their cruelty, it is wiser to reflect on one's own contributions to the relationship's failure. Recognizing and working on personal shortcomings, such as neglecting household responsibilities or lacking support for the partner's ambitions, allows for growth and the avoidance of similar mistakes in the future. Only by taking responsibility can one strive towards a better and happier life. The tendency to flee or avoid situations that threaten our identity, and how Buddhism can offer guidance in overcoming this challenge. Consider the scenario of a senior manager who is content with their job, lifestyle, and the identity associated with being a senior manager. Now imagine an opportunity arises to reach an even higher position, but with significant risks. Failure could result in losing everything, including the job, status, and the core identity tied to being a senior manager. Most people would avoid taking such risks due to Manson's law of avoidance, which refers to our instinctual tendency to flee from anything that jeopardizes our identity. While this avoidance may appear wise, it often hinders rather than helps us. For instance, aspiring artists and writers may avoid showcasing or selling their work out of fear that it will be rejected. They believe that trying and failing would shatter the identity they have built around the possibility of becoming a great artist or writer. Consequently, they never attempt to pursue their passion. Fortunately, Buddhism offers a solution to mitigate the negative impact of Manson's law of avoidance. Buddhist teachings emphasize that identity is an illusion. The labels we assign ourselves, such as rich, poor, successful, or failure, are merely constructs of the mind and do not reflect ultimate reality. As such, we should not allow these identities to dictate our lives. To overcome this challenge, it is essential to learn to let go of our identities. By doing so, we can experience a liberating shift. For example, if you have always identified yourself as career-oriented, prioritizing work over family and hobbies, freeing yourself from this self-image allows you to pursue activities that genuinely bring you happiness, such as spending quality time with your children or engaging in hobbies like building model airplanes. By embracing the teachings of Buddhism and recognizing the illusory nature of identity, we can break free from the constraints of our self-perceptions and live more authentically, pursuing what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. The fact that we will eventually die is an uncomfortable reality that profoundly influences how we live our lives. Ernest Becker, an anthropologist, explored the relationship between death and human behavior in his influential book, The Denial of Death. Becker's first main idea is that humans are inherently afraid of death. Unlike other animals, humans have the capacity to contemplate hypothetical scenarios and envision life beyond their own existence. This ability to imagine life after death leads to Becker's second main idea: individuals strive to create a conceptual self that will endure beyond their own mortality. In other words, people engage in immortality projects, seeking to leave a lasting legacy through pursuits like fame, religion, politics, or business. However, this quest for immortality projects can have negative consequences for both society and individuals. It can lead to conflicts, destruction, and suffering, and it also generates stress and anxiety in individuals who feel the desperate need to make their mark. Fortunately, there is a simple solution proposed by Becker. We need to let go of the pursuit of immortality and instead focus on the present moment. By shifting our attention away from fame and power and instead seeking meaning in the here and now, we can find a sense of fulfillment. Rather than being consumed by the fear of death and the desire for a lasting legacy, we can concentrate on spreading happiness and joy in our immediate surroundings. This notion of not giving a fuck should extend beyond thoughts of death. As highlighted in previous insights, trying to please everyone and be everything to everyone only leads to pain. To live a happier life, it is important to focus on the things that bring us joy and fulfillment, whether it is engaging in a meaningful struggle or nurturing healthy relationships. Everything else can be seen as pointless distraction. The story of Romeo and Juliet, although renowned as a love story, is indeed a tragic one filled with chaos, violence, and ultimately, the death of both lovers. It serves as a reminder of the destructive power of romantic love. Research has shown that passionate and intense romantic relationships can have a similar effect on the brain as drugs like cocaine, resulting in intense highs followed by crashes. This pattern often leads individuals to continuously search for that initial high, even if it means seeking it elsewhere, which can result in pain and suffering. During Shakespeare's time, the risks associated with romantic love were well understood. It is possible that Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet as a critique of the destructive nature of romantic desire. In the past, relationships and marriages were often based on practical considerations and the compatibility of skills between partners rather than solely on passionate love. However, in contemporary times, romantic love is often idealized and prioritized, which can lead to heartbreak. So what can be done about this? Does it mean giving up on the idea of romance altogether? Not necessarily. Romantic love can be healthy or unhealthy depending on certain criteria. Unhealthy love occurs when individuals use the relationship as an escape from their own problems. They may be unhappy with their lives and use the intensity of their feelings for each other as a distraction. However, personal problems cannot be masked indefinitely, and this form of avoidance as passion tends to turn sour. Healthy love, on the other hand, exists when both partners are fully committed to the relationship. Instead of using it as a means of escape, they are devoted to each other's well-being. They provide support and care for one another, but it is important that this support is desired and not forced. In summary, while the story of Romeo and Juliet underscores the destructive nature of romantic love, it is important to recognize that healthy love can exist when both partners are fully invested, supportive, and respectful of each other's autonomy. It is indeed frustrating to encounter individuals who always believe they are right and refuse to listen to different perspectives. However, the truth is that we all fall into this trap from time to time. We can be deluded by our own certainty even when we are incorrect. Consider the author's friend who recently got engaged. Almost everyone viewed the groom to be as a decent person, except for the friend's fiancé's brother. He continuously criticized his sister's choice and firmly believed that the fiancé would eventually hurt her. Despite the brother's misguided views, he was unwilling to entertain the possibility that he might be wrong. To avoid behaving like the critical brother, it is crucial to develop a willingness to question ourselves and consider whether we might be mistaken. By doing so, we can overcome our blind spots and false sense of certainty. However, this process is not easy because our false beliefs often serve as a cover for our insecurities. Constantly questioning our decisions and actions may lead us to uncover uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Returning to the example of the hypercritical brother, his dislike for the groom-to-be could have been a manifestation of his own insecurities. He might have been envious of his sister finding love while he had not, or perhaps he was jealous because she directed her attention to her fiancé instead of him. His fallacious assumptions allowed him to avoid dealing with his own insecurities. Fortunately, we have the opportunity to avoid falling into the same trap. By being open to questioning our beliefs and confronting our insecurities, we can cultivate healthier and happier behavior. The key message of the book is that we often take on too much in life, leading to stress and unhappiness. To counter this, it is essential to prioritize and focus on the things that truly matter to us. By adopting a mindset of not giving a fuck about the things that cause us pain and selectively choosing what we care about, we can develop a more constructive approach to work, love, and life as a whole. The actionable advice provided is to forget the fear of missing out, FOMO, and learn to say no. It is emphasized that we cannot have it all and that trying to do so only leads to stress. Instead, it is important to identify what is genuinely important to us and be willing to miss out on other things. Being ruthless in our choices and prioritizing what aligns with our values and desires is key. An example is given of Mohamed El-Erian, a CEO multimillionaire, who resigned from his lucrative job to spend more time with his young daughter, demonstrating the importance of making choices based on personal priorities. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thanks.